And I actually love this one. It's so cute and I like how the hat looks on it.
The morning sun poured through the tall glass windows of the office lobby, turning the polished floors into mirrors of golden light. It was the kind of day that promised routine for most, but for one young woman, this was the day her life would begin to change. Her name was Amara Velasquez, a quiet intern tucked into the endless corridors of a towering corporate empire. She had always been the kind of person who preferred to blend into the background rather than stand in the spotlight. Her head stayed low, her voice soft, and her presence almost invisible to the bustling professionals around her. But sometimes, the smallest voices carry the deepest strength, and sometimes, kindness finds a way to rise even when nobody is watching. Before we dive deeper into this journey of courage, kindness, and unexpected recognition, let me ask you something. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, in the idea that even the shyest soul can spark change, please take a moment to like this video, share it with others, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. Your support allows stories like this one to keep spreading hope into the world. Amara had started her internship only 3 weeks earlier. She was barely 21, carrying a backpack that had more scuffed notebooks than confidence. Her role at the firm was simple: help with paperwork, organize files, run errands, and occasionally greet guests in the lobby when the reception desk became too busy. To most, it was a forgettable position. To her, it was everything, her first step into a world that always felt too big for someone so quiet. Her shyness had roots that stretched deep. Growing up in a modest neighborhood, Amara had been teased often for her quiet nature and for being too sensitive. But one part of her life gave her strength: her younger brother, Mateo, who had been born deaf. For years, she had been his translator, his bridge to a world that often refused to slow down for him. She had learned sign language not as a hobby, but as an act of love, carrying conversations between him and teachers, doctors, even strangers. It wasn't something she advertised at the office, it was just a piece of her she kept close, like a hidden flame in her chest. That morning, the office lobby was alive with the usual rhythm of professionals coming and going. Heels clicked against marble floors, phones buzzed, voices echoed in hurried conversations. Amara had been asked to cover the reception desk while the receptionist stepped away for a meeting. Her hands fidgeted against the keyboard as she typed, her eyes darting nervously to the grand revolving doors. She always worried about making mistakes, about not being enough. Then, the doors opened, and in walked a man, dressed simply but with a tired dignity in his posture. His eyes searched the lobby with a certain hesitation, and when he approached the desk, Amara noticed something different. He carried a notepad and pen in hand, but before he could write anything, he lifted his hand in a small, tentative wave and tried to speak. The words came broken, strained, and in that moment, Amara recognized the signs instantly. He was deaf. Her heart skipped. Most in the office would have looked away, unsure how to help, but Amara's instinct surged before her shyness could stop her. With trembling hands, she raised them and began to sign, "Hello, how can I help you?" The man's face lit up in astonishment, his eyes widening with relief. His hands moved quickly in response, grateful, flowing in the language that was so often ignored. He explained that he had come to deliver documents but wasn't sure where to go. Amara's nerves melted as she guided him, her signs clear, her gestures full of patience. For the first time in weeks, she wasn't the invisible intern. She was someone's voice. Someone's bridge. What Amara didn't know was that across the lobby, standing quietly near the tall glass windows, someone else was watching. The CEO of the company, Adrian Kessler, a man often spoken about in hushed tones, had arrived earlier than usual. Known for his sharp suits and sharper mind, Adrian rarely lingered in the lobby. But today, his eyes had caught the scene unfolding, a shy intern, speaking a language that most in his office couldn't understand, extending warmth to a stranger who otherwise might have been dismissed. His phone remained idle in his hand as he observed, his mind unexpectedly struck silent. Amara finished guiding the visitor, offering him a small written note to help him navigate the elevators. He smiled warmly, bowed his head in thanks, and left with shoulders a little straighter than when he'd entered. Amara exhaled, her cheeks flushed with both relief and pride. She thought no one had noticed. She thought it was just another quiet act of kindness that would vanish like so many of her unnoticed efforts. But Adrian Kessler had noticed. Later that day, as Amara sat at her desk in the intern cubicle, typing with the focus of someone afraid to make even a single mistake, she felt a shadow fall across her desk. She looked up to see the CEO himself standing there, his presence like a sudden storm in a still room. She froze, her heart pounding. Adrian studied her for a long moment, then asked softly, almost unexpectedly, about the language she had used in the lobby. Amara's voice quivered as she explained about her brother, about learning sign language out of love, and about how it had simply become second nature to her. To her astonishment, Adrian didn't respond with the usual clipped professionalism she expected. Instead, he nodded slowly, his eyes carrying something thoughtful, almost humbled. He told her that his late mother had struggled with hearing loss in her final years and that he had always wished he'd known how to communicate with her more fully. "What you did today," he said, "was more than kind. It was powerful." From that moment on, Amara's world began to shift. The CEO began to involve her in projects far beyond her intern duties, inviting her to meetings, asking her to help implement accessibility initiatives across the company. Soon, sign language workshops were introduced for staff, and accommodations were improved for clients and employees with hearing impairments. All of this had started because of a shy young woman who thought nobody was watching when she chose to help. The days turned into weeks, and Amara's confidence began to blossom. She still carried her quiet nature, but it was no longer weighed down by invisibility. She had found her place, not by forcing herself to be louder, but by letting her kindness speak in the language of her heart. And somewhere deep inside, Adrian Kessler carried that image of the shy intern greeting a stranger with gentle hands, reminding him that leadership wasn't just about profit or power, it was about humanity. If this story touched your heart so far, please take a moment to like this video, share it with others, subscribe to Kindness Corner, and leave a comment. Your support helps keep these stories of compassion alive and spreading to those who need them most.